Most people see the USA as this perfect dreamland, and from a distance it looks like nothing could ever go wrong. The general assumption is that the USA is filled with law-abiding citizens, and they've got their economy under complete control. However, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Some places in the USA are completely all over the place, and if you're curious to find out, here are 20 of the worst places in all of the USA. First, we've got Tonopah, Nevada. Imagine a town where the streets feel eerily abandoned, like a ghost town out of an old western. That's Tonopah for you. It once used to be a bustling silver mining hub, but now it's a remote outpost in the desert with extreme weather and fewer modern amenities. And the cherry on top is the infamous Clown Motel, located right next to an old cemetery, adding to the strangely creepy vibe of this place. And there's Gary, Indiana. This is a city that was once an industrial giant, but is now haunted by its own past. Gary's story is one of decline, with abandoned buildings and a shrinking population. The steel mills that once thrived are mostly shut down, leaving behind a trail of environmental issues and economic struggles. Despite revitalization efforts, the place is still decaying to this day, and nobody's doing anything about it. Then there's Detroit, Michigan, which is home to the largest continuous area of urban decay in the country. It feels like an urban ghost town, with the emptiest buildings lining many streets. While there have been some improvements over the years, progress has been slow, and the city still struggles with massive areas of abandonment and decay. Coming up next is Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. The name might sound intriguing, but the reality is far from glamorous. Once called Hot Springs, this town banked on a 1950s radio show for its current name. However, today, it's a fading tourist spot with outdated attractions and sparse amenities. The remote location means it's hard to draw a crowd, and the ruined motels don't help either. Basically, this was a place full of potential, but it all went to waste. But no other place is quite like Barrow, Alaska. Imagine living in a place where the sun doesn't rise for 65 days straight in winter. Well, that's Barrow for you, the northernmost town in the U.S. The extreme cold and isolation are daunting, with the high cost of living and limited access to fresh food adding to the challenges. And if that's not enough, the occasional polar bear strolling into town ups the danger factor even more. Now coming to the most dangerous urban ghetto in the U.S., Chicago, Illinois. In the south and west sides of Chicago, the violence is staggering, resembling war zone-like conditions due to gang-related activities. While Chicago is a large and diverse city with many nice neighborhoods, the areas plagued by gang violence are incredibly dangerous. The sheer volume of violence in these neighborhoods makes it one of the most dangerous urban areas in the country. It's heartbreaking to see how these communities have been ravaged by crime, with many residents living in constant fear. Next is Baker, California, which is mostly known as a pit stop on the way to Death Valley. Baker's claim to fame is the world's tallest thermometer. But is there anything else in this place? Nope. Beyond that, it's a tiny town with scorching desert heat and near to no facilities. It often feels like just a brief rest stop on the way to more interesting places, with little to hold your interest for long. Now, imagine living in a place in the US that feels like you're living in the third world. Well, that's the reality for everybody living in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is the poorest urban ghetto found in New Orleans. The level of poverty is astonishing, and it's not just a result of Hurricane Katrina. This area has struggled for a long time with economic hardship. The saving grace is that it's not as extensive as the ghettos in Detroit or Chicago, but it's still the most destitute, with many residents facing severe poverty daily. Coming down to Camden, New Jersey. This place is just across the river from Philadelphia, and it has to be one of the most hazardous places one could live. The city is plagued by inadequate housing, failing schools, and limited job opportunities. The Delaware River's pollution and numerous abandoned buildings only add to Camden's woes, making life tough for residents and uninviting for visitors. Gallup, New Mexico, can be found along historic Route 66. Gallup faces severe issues with poverty and substance abuse. Despite its rich Native American heritage and scenic surroundings, the town struggles with economic and social challenges. Liquor stores and pawn shops are all over the place, reflecting deeper community issues that make it a tough place to live or visit. Then there's this strange place called Fly Geyser, Nevada. While this place is a remarkable sight, it was created by accident during the drilling of a well in 1961. The geyser's constant spraying of water has turned the surrounding area into a slimy, algae-covered landscape, making it a slippery and messy place to visit. Despite its beauty, the area is treacherous for anyone attempting to explore it on foot, so its beauty is basically useless. Just like that, there's Lunar Crater, Nevada. This is an impressive volcanic field used for astronaut training during the Apollo missions. However, its barren and desolate landscape closely resembles the moon, making it a very unwelcoming and lifeless place to visit. The sheer isolation and lack of any vegetation or wildlife make it feel otherworldly and eerie. But if you hate rain, you'd hate no place more than Ketchikan, Alaska. Sure, it's known for its stunning scenery and as a cruise ship stop, but Ketchikan's reality is a bit drearier. It's one of the rainiest places in the U.S., with over 150 inches of rain annually. The isolation and high cost of living, coupled with limited job opportunities outside of tourism, make life here extremely challenging for residents. Right opposite to that is Yuma, Arizona, a place that might hold the record for being the sunniest place in the U.S., but the relentless heat can be oppressive. Surrounded by a barren desert, Yuma has agricultural significance, but offers limited cultural and recreational activities. Economic disparities are also highlighted by the high rate of seasonal farm labor, making it less appealing overall. Now, this one will definitely leave you a bit shocked. Mystery Spot. California is a tourist attraction in Santa Cruz, famous for its supposed gravitational anomalies, where balls appear to roll uphill and people seem to lean at impossible angles. This can be disorienting and even nauseating for visitors, leaving them feeling unbalanced and confused. The activity isn't exactly safe and is only made to lure the tourists in to try something unusual. Is it healthy for tourists to even be here? Well, who knows? Now, imagine there's a place that you can't even reach easily. That's Dillingham, Alaska. In the remote southwest of Alaska, Dillingham is accessible mainly by plane or boat. This isolation brings a high cost of living and limited job opportunities, with harsh weather conditions making life even worse for the people. The town's reliance on commercial fishing ties its economic stability to an unpredictable industry. When it comes to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, this town has seen a massive population decline and economic downturn, leading to decay in the entire area. It's been abandoned by the people, and there's no way to find work in this place. Efforts to make things better downtown have faltered, with many buildings remaining vacant and in disrepair. Poverty and a lack of quality educational and healthcare services make it an extremely hard place to live. Next is Mojave, California. Known for its desert and aerospace industry, Mojave is a small town with limited attractions. The harsh desert climate and high unemployment rates, combined with a lack of amenities, make it an unappealing place to live. Often feeling like a desolate outpost, there's little to draw in residents or visitors beyond its closeness to the Mojave Air and Spaceport. Then there's Cherry Hill, New York. This neighborhood in Manhattan's Old Fourth Ward is notorious for its haunted three-room flat on Cherry Street. For 19 years, no tenant could remain in the flat due to terrifying disturbances like upside-down pictures and moving furniture. The constant poltergeist activity has made this location infamous and unsettling for even the bravest visitors. Who would want to willingly put themselves through that? Lastly, there's Ward Charcoal Ovens, Nevada. These beehive-shaped ovens in Ely were used in the 1870s to produce charcoal for nearby silver smelters. Now they stand as eerie, empty relics in the middle of nowhere. Their remote location and strange appearance make them a peculiar and somewhat spooky destination. And that brings us to the end of the video. Let me know which place in the USA is the absolute worst in your opinion. If you enjoyed watching this video, you definitely wouldn't want to miss this other video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.